program and control. As a small biz pro, and so we grow. Using procurement, program and control. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is the Business Zone with
Crystal.
and Gilbert Buchanan, your small business paramedic. And today, folks, if you're just joining or you've never joined us before, this is going to be an amazing show. Crystal and I, we're going to make you guys smile today.
Yes, it's our holiday. It's going to be our last show before the holiday, and we just want to wish everybody a happy, Merry Christmas and a New Year. And I don't know about you guys, but I am super excited about getting through this year and getting into the 2021 year. I don't know about you. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
2021, baby. 2021. Wait, COVID be gone.
Well, I wish it would be gone, but I am so excited about it, and I am so we have to do what we have to do because we got something big happening in January. Big. What's big?
Yes,
We have the inauguration. It is 32 days, 17 hours, and 58 minutes and 6 seconds away. So we are all excited because, oh my gosh, I can't wait. I can't wait.
countdown, the countdown has begun.
The countdown has begun.
Make sure you're ready to see what's going on. Maybe we may have to get security to throw out somebody out of the White.
Yeah, I don't think it's not going to be a easy transition. He's not going to leave on his own. He's going to be like the reluctant boyfriend where you're going to have to take him and drag him and call your cousins to get him out.
Water.
He's not going to go away peacefully.
He doesn't want to leave.
And Gilbert, did you hear that he can't well, I don't know if they're gonna reinforce it because you nothing gets reinforced with him. But
Yeah.
technically, he cannot live at
Oh,
Mar-a-Lago.
yeah.
Did you see
I
that?
saw that. That's something else. All of the residents are up in arms. They're going, oh, he can't live here because it was designed as a resort. So they will have events there, not for living, but for events.
Right, exactly. So we shall see if they're going to enforce it. I
Uh,
hear Palm Beach doesn't want him there, and so Palm Beach is the one that brought it to the surface that they want him gone, and
uh,
that he they just can't handle the pressure of him being there, living there 24/7. But I do hear that someone told me yesterday that he does have a mansion across the street,
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
He has a property across the
he has a
street.
property across the
So,
street.
so
So,
they're saying if he can't stay at Mar-a-Lago, he can definitely stay at his mansion across the street. So that's
well,
crazy.
at this point, we don't care where he goes.
You can't stay here, but you have to go home. You can't stay here, right?
We don't care where he going. That's not our problem.
But you know what's amazing? So they had some kind of press conference yesterday in Russia, right? And one of the press people asked Putin. They said, "So, if Donald Trump decides to migrate to Russia? Will you guys embrace him? Will you take him here? Putin say, I don't think so.
Oh, so he's not even welcome in Russia, and that's his buddies.
Putin say, I don't think so. There's no need to have Donald Trump here.
Because his job was to destroy the America. His job wasn't
Exactly.
supposed to come to Putin's world. That's his
Yeah.
world. Had nothing to do with him. So,
And
uh,
you notice how convenient it is. As soon as it's time for him to go, all of a sudden all these cyber attacks are happening because it didn't happen on his watch for the last 4 years, but now
right,
all of a sudden. So that's
right.
suspicious to me, man. That is
Oh,
so
extremely
suspicious.
suspicious. Because they upset that the dude has didn't do, he was supposed to win the election so that they could finish destroying this country. Now,
Hmm.
granted, it's going to take a whole lot because you see yesterday? Remember I was telling you that whenever a disgruntled employee gets fired from a job, then they go
Yeah,
into the drawer and into his
yeah,
desk drawer and
yeah,
find all kinds. So this week they found all of the secrets in the
yeah.
emails on the fact that
Uh,
he was going to let he wanted the herd immunity to take place, and
yes,
so that's
yes.
why he never did anything.
Oh my Lord, these
It
people are that's more than treason, man. That is more than treason.
well, if if we were living in a third world country, they would already stormed the
They,
Capitol.
they would have strung him up already.
but for sometimes all of those rules and regulations and constitutions work
Yeah.
they work to your disadvantage as well as to your advantage.
So that
So
that's gonna be interesting, man. I can't wait to see what comes of this.
I know. So how was your week?
Oh man, it was crazy busy. I had all kinds of proposals to do. I had one for the LA Latino Chamber that I had to submit, and then there's another one for Chase Bank, JP Morgan Chase, that I had to submit also. So I'm just, now waiting to get response and see what happens.
Yeah, this was my proposal week. I had to do Edison. I did one for the County of Los Angeles, which we were awarded yesterday,
Oh,
and I'm going to share
congratulations!
that with you guys.
All
So
right.
that one is for us to, and I'll share it over with you. Is to
Congratulations, co-host.
Thank you. So we are supporting Slow to Spread during the holiday season of COVID, making sure that we stay at home and we follow the basics of washing our hands and wearing our mask and avoiding our crowds. So for the next 10, 15 days, Recycling Black Dollars, they provided us with a social media outreach kit, and we
Hmm.
will be posting on our social media platforms and sharing with everyone we know to be safe this holiday season. One of the things that we do know is that during the Thanksgiving season, that during Thanksgiving, unfortunately, about 56 million people traveled,
Oh
and
my
and we're
Lord.
living that right now.
Mm.
The people that came back and been infected, and so we just want to make sure everyone is safe, and we
Yeah,
want also to know that if you've been exposed, and even though you're not um, showing any symptoms, you still are a carrier. You still
yeah,
are a spreader,
right.
and your immune system may be strong enough to fight it, but you come in contact with your elderly grandmother or you know your friends that have a compromised immune systems,
Yeah.
and you could actually be the one that could be the carrier and the spreader that could really end their lives.
Wow.
So I think
Wow.
people need to be more responsible. Um, and so I just want us to be safe, and I want us to get into 2021 because I know that it's the it. we're still in it, but I just have high hopes for 2021 of at least being rid of the man in the White House. so you, if nothing else, you want to live through 2020 you can reap the benefits of not having that man in the White House. So and maybe that's your motivator. I don't know what it is, but keep your butt in the house.
Well, we know it's going to be, but the operation is good. The administration is going to be a lot more organized because they've just brought some adults to the table. So those adults are going to run things and guide things along, and we're not going to have that chaotic, flailing, indisciplined actors, bad actors at the table anymore. So that's a good
I
thing.
just will be pleased with the fact that we don't have 24-hour news feeds
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
with the bad actor. That's what
yeah,
I want. I
yeah,
want the 24-hour news feed to be something else. So
yes.
that would be fantastic. But that was one of the things I did. I had to write the proposal, and so we were awarded it. I like those kind of proposals that where they award you in 2 days.
Right.
That's a good feeling, man. And so we did that. And then I'm going to be I'm going to be one of the presenters or doing webinars for Vermont Slauson.
Oh, great. Starting
Um,
when? January or February?
Starting January. I think it's January 5th. Actually, I'm gonna do my cash flow um
I like
uh,
that.
uh a presentation that I do, and then I'm gonna eventually be doing hey for Alfred, and then I'm gonna be eventually doing uh QuickBooks and Wave training, and also understanding bookkeeping for the small business
That
owner.
is beautiful. Make sure you record it because we need to have that posted on your website so folks can go there and learn and go through the seminars themselves at their own pace. So, yeah, I think that's well needed.
Yeah, so excited about that. And then I'm also been recontracted to continue doing. In fact, I've been added to the team for the new Women's Business Center.
Oh,
Um,
great, great.
because I've been doing a series of workshops on starting your business
Oh,
and the
excellent,
processes of your business. So I
excellent.
was told this week by Ruth Garcia that they've included me in the team and
All
they're changing
right.
over some things. So that's exciting. So that starts.
Congratulations,
Yeah,
co-host.
I know. I'm getting like you,
Congratulations.
co-host.
I like
I'm
that.
diversifying.
That's right. Several income streams. That's what we're talking about.
Right. So I guess I proved my worth, and
Yes,
everyone
yes,
loves me.
yes. That's
So that's
beautiful.
cool. So I'm
That is
excited. I'm
beautiful.
excited. There's a lot of good stuff happening.
All
My
right.
plan my plan is during the holiday season. I'm down. I'm shut down as of Christmas Eve, and my plan is to get my online course up and ready for launching in the first month of January. Or
Beautiful.
at least in February. That's the plan. So
Beautiful.
hopefully my brain will be clear and I can
Hmm.
do that.
I like
So
that.
what's your plans for 2021?
Well, I'm gonna start doing a lot of virtual seminars online, and I want to help businesses to build their back office so they understand what they need to do in order to be a competent business. Because many lenders, many contract providers see small businesses as fledgling. They don't see them as respectable, as knowing what they're doing. So this is a good thing. This is good. So I want to put that out there and show small businesses how to set up their back office so they can come across as being competent and that they know what they're doing and have all their compliance information in one place so they can access it. So that's one of my big things that I'm doing. And of course, with Small Biz Pro, we're gonna be targeting some larger corporations so we can try to obtain some licenses, try to find a licensing deal with one of them.
Okay.
And oh yeah, so we want to take it international, man. So
Awesome. I'm
that,
excited for you. So we
yeah.
see all this good stuff is gonna happen
Oh
in
yeah.
2021. Really, really excited.
See, COVID forced us. We have to do something because COVID cornered us in a corner, and you know what happened. You know,
Yeah, we had
with a sharp with a sharp entrepreneur, when you're cornered in a corner, you find a way to get out
You
of there
find a
and
way to
grow.
get out. You find a little tiny hole, and you keep nibbling at it, and then you just
Yeah,
bust through. That's what you're
that's
supposed to do as
that's
a
what I'm
as a
talking
as an
about.
entrepreneur. Well, yeah,
And
that's
and you're also working on an app for recycling black dollars, right?
I am. So do you want to see it? We have
Yes,
we have
yes.
the live prototype up. We're going to start. Well, the sales is already going on, but I just want everybody to know we want all black businesses to be listed in that's in the Southern California, Greater Los Angeles area listed in
Yeah,
it. We are really really excited. Armand Santos, my social media, my digital partner.
yeah.
He is super excited about it. And
Sure.
so this is going to be what it's going to look like.
All right.
And so this up here will be our logo. It's this is going to be a co-branded product with
Mhm.
Recycle Black Dollars in the Los Angeles Urban League,
Yeah.
and it's going to operate not just an app. It's going to operate as a environment, a digital platform environment that not only will list the businesses and activities, but also making sure you know what's going on in the community and highlighting and supporting our businesses in the community. So this big piece in the middle that's celebrating the 100 years of the Urban League,
Right.
every this will change with every promotional projects that is going on. So in February it'll be Black History Month. In March it'll be Women's Business Month. In April it'll be Black Business Month. So every month we'll have. So it's going to be created like a mall, and
Yeah.
then we're going to have the deals and the dining and
I
the
like
entertainment.
that.
Is that not nice?
I
And,
like that.
and then it's going to have other promotional stuff that will be placed in that placard. And then the services is going to do business spotlights, hello neighbor, what's going on in the community, that's a blog link, and then
Right.
community resources and where you can go to get assistance, and then discovering the best community has to offer. So these will be businesses and members of RBD,
I
and then
like
that
that.
will be our feed. Is that not
I
beautiful?
like that. And you're going to be featuring businesses, right, from time to time?
Yeah, businesses and individuals like yourself and
Yeah.
anyone that's doing some major things that we just want to. Um, yes, Marta's there. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
She's in the green room.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
so we're just really excited, and this is something that RBD has been working toward for a while. Good afternoon, Gregory. Good afternoon, Alfred. Glad to have you. So we're excited about
This
that. So we
this is
want to make
great.
sure every
And,
business is listed
well,
so we can support them.
you know what I'd like to do? I'd like to team up with Recycling Black Dollars. So, with Small Biz Pro. So when your members subscribe to Small Biz Pro, you guys get a percentage of it. I'd like to do that
Okay.
for you. So that
Oh
will
well,
help.
fantastic.
That will help to take you on a wider level. You see what I mean?
Okay. And then
Beautiful.
we are also we're looking for people to help us sell ads and outreach. So for every ad that is sold,
Yeah.
we have a package going on, $200 package, which will get you a membership to RBD as well as a ad in the print guide and on an interactive ad on the digital app. And that interactive app will take you to your websites, to your social media. They will have links to you. Then there will be upgrades if you want push notifications and augmented reality and all the things, all the bells and whistles. So there's up. So you get 20% commission on everything
Yeah.
that you sell.
Yeah. That's
And
beautiful.
yeah, and we're looking at creating a whole community for the procurement supplier diversity
Yeah.
component. Going to be working with Karen Blackwell on some things to make that a very robust environment. So
Yeah.
suppliers know where primes are, and primes know where suppliers are, and subs
Yeah.
know where primes are.
That's
So
amazing, Coles. I am so
yeah,
happy for you.
so excited, excited.
Yeah, well, one thing I can say about COVID, even though it killed over 311,000 people, which is more than the city of Alhambra, the city of Inglewood, and Covina put together. It that is devastating, but at least COVID forced us to recreate, regenerate, and come up with new strategies. I don't just want to say pivot, but to really make us start examining ourselves, the market and business a different kind of way, and make our approaches different. So I like that.
Yeah, so that's the silver linings. That's the COVID silver linings
Yeah.
that has really pushed people to be their best, to do their best, and to pivot and change, making sure that their business is going to be operating on a global, national, and a global level. So that's
Good.
perfect. So we're getting ready to bring in our guest. I'm excited to learn. I've read about her. Oh my gosh, she's so impressive,
She is
and so I can't.
phenomenal. She is phenomenal. That's why I booked her. I'm saying I gotta have this lady on here. She is amazing. Los Angeles, see the city of Los Angeles know some about her, but the whole county of Los Angeles don't know about her yet. So hopefully after today, everybody will know about her.
Yes, so I'm excited to bring her on. But I want to let you know you referred someone to me, and she called me for something entirely different. I turned her on to the mini grant at Urban League, and
Oh,
she was awarded the mini grant.
who
She is
was
so
that?
excited. So
Who's that?
Nalita Price.
Oh, yes, 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 yes. Nalisha Price. She's one of my clients. Oh man, she's a hard
Nalisha
worker.
Price.
Yeah, she's a hard worker. She has a nail salon. It's called
Yeah,
Glow Within,
skincare.
within Me Glow or something
Yeah,
like that. Yeah. Oh yeah, she's amazing.
within me glow. So
Within Me Glow.
she
Yes.
was awarded.
All right. All right. I'm so
She
happy.
was awarded last night.
I am so happy. See, that's what I like. I like it when small businesses get our instructions and they act on it and we see results. So that's great.
Yeah, so I'm sure she's gonna call you because
Oh yeah.
she's over the moon right now.
Oh yeah.
Well, welcome to our guest, Miss Marta Segura. So you want to do the honors, or you want me to do the honors?
I think since you have her bio there, because I don't have it on my screen right now, I would love to do it because I just love this woman. But go ahead and do it for me. Martha,
Oh,
welcome to the Business Zone.
Thank you. Thank you, Gil
she is
and Crystal.
Marta. Welcome, Marta. It's such a pleasure to meet you, and we're so happy to have you. And I am just so impressed by what I read about you, and
Thank
everyone should know about you. Marta is a social impact strategist and a leadership coach. She has I guess a signature program, the Segura Strategies for Good. So I'm looking forward to hearing that. She helps. She has raised millions of dollars for nonprofits and fund giving, millions to great causes over the years. She will help take you to that next level, and she likes working with women of color to help them overcome adversity and and help them become leaders in their businesses. So we want to welcome you, and we are so excited to have you on our last show of the year, and
Wow.
and hopefully to help people go into 2021 with all kinds of motivation. So welcome to the Business Zone.
Thank you both, Crystal and Gil, for having me on your show.
You
It's so
are
fun.
welcome.
I was listening to everything with such interest. You know, I'm like, I want to be part of that conversation.
I don't know what we're going to talk about in 2021 because Biden is not going to be quite the news feed, but
Well, trust me, this dude is not gonna go quietly. He's gonna be in the background trolling everyone. So we'll have a lot to talk about.
Exactly. Yeah. And
So
push for, right? Because the
yeah,
system is going to be what it was,
yeah,
and Biden himself is going to try to be an instrument of change. And
yeah,
then the community voices,
yeah,
yours
yeah,
especially, will have
yeah,
to help him push for that significant change because it's not going to be easy.
definitely.
Even if we win Georgia, even
Uh,
if we win
yeah,
Georgia.
Yeah.
It's still not going to be easy because we have the old system in place.
Oh,
What we
yeah.
want is the new system, right?
It,
So
it's
one way
it's
or
like
the other, there's going to be a lot to change and a
it's
lot
like
to talk about.
it's like having 4 raggedy tires on your car and you replace only 2 of them.
That's right.
The other two is gonna mess it
You,
up anyway.
you need everything, and you need a huge tune-up and all of the other stuff too, for
So,
sure.
so Marta Segura, tell us who Marta Segura is.
Well, I have had so many different evolutions, right? I started off in the corporate sector, but went to UCLA for, more philanthropic work. And then I was picked up by the California Endowment. They offered me a position as a program officer. And that's when I started my philanthropic work and giving away money to nonprofit organizations. But my job as a program officer was to identify organizations, a lot like you do in the small business community, identify the organizations that are represented by people of color and serve people of color and serve the most marginalized communities. And that's when I really began to understand, hey, capacity building is needed in the nonprofit sector so that they can absorb those dollars and grow. And then I realized that our leaders were burnt out, overwhelmed, exhausted, didn't have enough training, never had enough money. So what then I realized is that they need coaching, they need training, they need capacity building, they need our support. And it's never been truer than today. Post-Trump, post-COVID, our nonprofit and business leaders are completely exhausted, and all of us are waiting for 2021 because we want this exhaustion to end, but it's not going to end by itself, as both of you know. They need leaders like Crystal and Gil and myself to be there for them, giving them some encouragement, wisdom. And my style is, look, all of us have this wisdom within. Sometimes all people need to pull that wisdom out is a sounding board, somebody to empathetically listen to them and pull out very carefully the ideas that will work to transform their leadership and to transform the leadership of the organization. Whether it's a business or a nonprofit, because a nonprofit organization, I guess most people don't really get this, they are a business. The only real difference is that the bottom line profit margin goes back into the programs versus giving more and more raises all of the time. Although some nonprofit leaders do get paid super well. They get paid what corporate executives get paid sometimes. So it really just depends whether we're talking about a United Way or whether we're talking about a small nonprofit or a medium-sized nonprofit that's just getting started. And then there's this whole new area developing that I think will interest businesses. And it's called the social enterprise, right? Because more and more people are choosing not to start a nonprofit, but to do a social enterprise because our world is changing. We are all pivoting. And this podcasts are really the targeted way that we're going to be reaching out to other individuals who also wish to be part of the wave of the future. Right.
You know what's amazing, Marta? Crystal and I have been social enterprising for the last 10, 15 years. And it's like we don't really call it that, but that's what it really is. Because a lot of what we do is we are giving back to the community. We spend a lot of time with small businesses, giving them free coaching, free consulting, or discount coaching and discount consulting. And we don't really charge them our regular rate because we know a lot of them don't have money. A lot of them are struggling. So we've been doing the social enterprise thing for so long. Unbelievable.
And I actually have told, I'm Marta, in addition to being the talk show, the host here, I have a coaching practice, business coaching practice. But in addition to that, I run a nonprofit. It's called Recycling Black Dollars. And I'm the co-director for that organization.
Oh, congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you. And so that, and I have that, like you, from the very beginning, from when I first started my own business, there's always been that philanthropy side of me. And so when that opportunity came up, it's like, yeah. And then it kind of coincided with what I was doing for business owners. And now, our members are small business owners. So it kind of works out that. But when people come to me for coaching and they're saying, I want to start a nonprofit, well, you and I both know it's difficult to raise money for small nonprofits that have, very altruistic purposes to be on the planet, right?
Yeah,
right. Corporations don't quite fit, are not all that touchy-feely with the altruistic feelings that you have. And so getting our organizations funded is difficult. So I'm always encouraging people, you need to have a for-profit arm. You need to be able to generate your own revenue so that you're not completely reliant on their revenue. And then your programs come to a screeching halt, or the organization comes to a screeching halt because you don't have the funds to go through that, to go to be able to carry out. So how do you go about helping nonprofits bridge that gap?
Right. Well, I mean, when I would advise, somebody who wanted to start a nonprofit who hadn't actually started it yet, first I would ask them, like, what is it that you want to accomplish? And if what they wanted to accomplish was already the mission of several other nonprofit organizations, then I'd say, have you done like the SWOT analysis, right? The strengths and weaknesses assessment, so that you could see whether you're duplicating something or you actually have an innovative idea that's different than what already exists. So if there's already a nonprofit, and let's say it's Recycling for Black Dollars, and somebody else has an idea very similar to that, I would encourage them to come and talk to you. Because why? If they have an innovative idea, but they want to start from scratch, maybe it's a better idea to propose it as a program to Recycling for Black Dollars, kind of like a joint, partnership, partnership, where this is their idea, they're going to develop it, they're going to create it. You get to decide, right, whether it's a good fit for Recycling for Black Dollars, but they can propose it to you like their own proposal, and then say, this is what I want to do, and this is how I want to pilot it, and I will be in charge. I will do the fundraising, but it will be in synchrony, in collaboration with Recycling for Black Dollars. So I have encouraged lots of people to go that route. The other route is there are like incubators, right? Like community partners, the Tides Foundation. So if you want to see whether your idea works, but you don't want a board, you don't want to incorporate, you don't want to spend a lot of money building that portion of it up, you just go to an incubator and propose it to them like I would to a nonprofit, right? You could incubate a nonprofit, or you could incubate at an incubator. And so Community Partners does that. You send them your proposal. Look, this is what I want to do. I want to recycle Black Dollars in Watts. And I would specifically want to cater to restaurants. And this is my strategy. And then coaches, somebody like yourself, Crystal, or me, or Gil, would say, okay, well, have you thought about this? Let's shape your program together so that when you present it to community partners, or you present it to a nonprofit or Tides, I would help them identify those incubators, for example, and ideas who to submit that proposal to. And then they can get going much sooner rather than later. And they can identify whether their idea is worth pursuing their own nonprofit for. If it's successful for multiple years at Community Partners, for example, then they actually help them incorporate, they actually help them go to the next level, so that they aren't alone, right?
To form their own entity, right?
Yeah. Or you could do what Crystal does. You could have your side hustle, right? Or your main hustle, whatever, and start a nonprofit, and then this nonprofit actually synchronizes with the kind of work that you do anyway, right? But then you have to be really careful to keep those separate expenses and separate books. So you're going to need a really, really good accountant and advisor to make sure that they overlap just the right way, right?
That is some that is some great pointers there, Martha. I never
Mhm.
thought of it that way. I've thought about nonprofits and all of that before, but see, that's what your experience brings to the table.
Right.
I mean, you've been doing this for years, and it
Mhm.
has worked. So I like that flavor. I like what you bring there. That's great.
Thank you.
See,
Yeah.
And I think
the
that
more I talk to you, the more I'm falling in love with you, Martha.
uh,
Thank
and,
you.
and it's so and take it for example for during this COVID time, most of
Mhm.
the monies that were put out there on the street were not for nonprofits. They
Right.
were
Yeah,
all for profit businesses. So
Mhm.
yeah,
a lot of the nonprofits are being forced to close their doors, but
yeah.
they do have strong programs. And I do the same thing, Marta. I
Mhm.
tell um, in fact, recently I helped was instrumental in helping bring a small nonprofit with a program to the Los Angeles Urban League, and so now they're not having to they can breathe easily because the program is growing at a natural speed as opposed
Right.
to a panic speed because you're trying to
Mhm.
keep the doors open, and now great things are taking place for them, and there definitely was a synergy for them and some history there. And so I think with nonprofits, though, sometimes the directors, the founders, they have it's like their baby, right?
Right.
And I don't want to share my baby with anybody, but it actually
Mhm.
ends up hurting them in the long run.
It
Right.
does. It does. Yeah, we call that the founder syndrome, right? When
Yeah.
when you think it's yours and your idea, and when I get that vibe from somebody
Yeah,
that they're not going to want to expand, that they're not going to want to build other leaders, that they're not going to want to eventually have it belong to the larger community,
yeah.
and that's a signal that they may not be in the right
Ready.
place. They may need to be an entrepreneur instead
Yeah,
of a
yeah,
nonprofit, right? So
yeah.
it doesn't mean that idea can't work. It
Right.
just may not work as a nonprofit
Yeah.
organization. It might work much better as a
Uh,
social enterprise or
right,
as a business, right?
right, right.
Mhm.
But people have the misunderstanding that if they start a nonprofit, they're going to get all of these grants. And I think that's why a lot of the people who want to do good go or start with that idea. But
Yeah.
I think it's a misunderstanding, and I think the expertise that the three of us have can lead people down the right roadmap
Right,
to
right,
make sure that they're successful, and
right,
that and maybe they won't be successful in the first year, but they'll learn from their failures and keep moving forward and refine and define their model. Like, for example,
Mhm.
if they start off as a nonprofit at the Urban League, but then you know the relationships are good, it's going well, but everybody realizes, you know what, this is such a great idea, but it's much better as a business.
yeah,
Mhm.
And then
yeah,
you've incubated a business, which is just as great as incubating a nonprofit.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Mhm.
So, I mean, both could happen with the support of institutions like the Urban League, and that's why those are so critical in our
Right.
community, because
No,
they
no,
do provide that kind of support.
no, Martha. I know you've been working on a solar program. I really would love for you to share that information with our audience to let them know what is it you're doing and how it's helping minorities and Latinos to
Mhm.
grow and expand their business also with that concept. So,
Well, I'm at the research phase of
oh,
this
oh, okay.
program. So let me just be very clear. What
Oh, okay.
what happened was, I was doing research for my own solar panel installation because, as you all know, utility rates are increasing
Yeah,
Mhm.
tremendously. The Before the pandemic hit, legislation was passed to increase our utility rates for
yeah,
various reasons.
yeah.
And then the pandemic hit, and now people are getting bills for 3, 4, 5, 6 months, right?
Wow.
And they're getting bills of over 1,000. In
Oh,
Compton, I know this individual for 3 months, their water utility alone was $900.
What?
my
Yeah,
God.
That
yeah.
is
And
crazy.
it is. And there was no education, there was no information diffused that, hey, water rates are increasing while we have this program, a moratorium, so that people don't have to pay. So
Right.
when they're getting their bills and they're absolutely shocked at their bills.
Wow.
So where I'm getting at with this, Gil, is that there is very little representation in the solar energy industry of Latinos and African Americans and other people of color.
Yeah.
They're not selling it. We're not selling it.
Wow.
They're not the builders or the installers.
Right.
And we're not part of that economy. So I think maybe this could be a huddle with you later on, because if we want to recycle Black dollars, for example, it would be so great when the new Green New Deal comes from the Biden administration, or whatever he calls it, the climate deal.
Yeah.
There's going to be money for renewable energy. There's going to be a lot of money for the renewable energy industry.
Yeah.
So if we're not plugged into it as businesses, as salespeople, as experts in some way in the pipeline of getting solar or another renewable to our homes, to our communities, then we're both going to miss out on the opportunity to get it installed and also have a business that responds to that. And that
I love that idea.
That's a great point.
We definitely can have that conversation, because we know that there are going to be a number of individuals that are going to have to pivot. Their old businesses are not going. They're not going to exist. So we have to start preparing our businesses for what the future is. And if we have an entry to the solar, and I know the solar has kind of been like on the peripherals. I remember years ago having a conversation with Edison. They're one of RBD's sponsors, and about 10 years ago, they were really struggling with that entryway of the solar, and I was just, they were struggling because they felt that, wait, we're now paying them as we have to pay back, right? And so I could never understand why weren't you guys the forerunners in this? Why didn't you jump in there? That way you wouldn't have to be paying anybody back.
Right. So
they told me it was not their business model. So, so there you have it.
Right. So what I'm trying to do is figure out a way to talk about procurement to our municipalities, to our state government, to ensure that our contractors, our businesses, our roof installers, everybody who's a natural sort of fit for that gets the information, gets retrained, gets their capacity built so that they can be ready for that pivot. And they don't, for example, they don't have to stop being contractors, and they don't even have to stop being roof installers. They can add this to their businesses, right? And that's just one part of it, right? The other part is sales, and the sales is phenomenal, especially if you're selling to commercial developments. If you're selling solar or other renewables to commercial developments, people are making more money there than they are selling mortgages, right? Selling houses and refinancing. It's actually more lucrative than that. So when I realized that there was this lack of information flowing to our communities, and everybody that I was talking to get bids or contracts for solar panels was not from our community, actually with one exception, and they're called, have their name, they're called Green Improvements. And every single person there, I'll have to share their information with you, is an African American. Their lead engineer installed Arnold Schwarzenegger's house. Solar on his house when he was the governor. So this guy knows what he's doing. And to be honest with you, out of all of the companies that I interviewed, they were the most capable, the most thorough, the most responsive. They came out and inspected the house. The others don't inspect your house. They just want to sell you a loan, the financing. And their model is the reverse. They interview over the phone, and then they come inspect your home with professionals, though, professionals. So I guess what I'm saying with that example is that it's not that we don't have the technical know-how and capacity, because we do, right? We just need to make sure that information flows. So I'm glad that you asked me to speak about it, but what I'd like to do is send you the information that I have where people can get their certification to install solar, where people can get their certification to sell solar. But more importantly, it's a policy move where chambers, right, whether they're African American chambers, Latino chambers, we all push for dollars to come to support us, like we're doing for restaurants right now. Engage people and encourage them to be ready for those dollars as they begin to get distributed. So we're still in the right time to be able to flow that information out so people can build their capacity.
I think that's absolutely awesome, because that's kind of what happened with the satellite and cable TV, right? Cable, when they emerged, they had to have a special training program to train all of the tech people, and then the customer service people, and then of course then it became satellite, and then it became fiber optics, and so that was a process that took place over the last 20 years. So solar, it would be the same type of structuring, right?
Right. And it's just like anything else. You have to know how to navigate it. You have to know who the lobbyists are for it right now, what the major corporations are doing that's benefiting them. So it's basically just then diffusing that information, but also having special investments so people can pivot, right?
Yeah.
So companies that exist right now can pivot and can do it. So that's what the commitment I want to make to you. No matter what I do or what I focus on, I want to make sure that this is an equitable distribution of resources that trickles in hard to Black and Brown communities, so that, because they want us to have solar rooftops, whether we're apartment buildings or whether we're homeowners.
Right.
So if we're going to be buying solar or installing solar, we also want to be part of the other equation, which is people installers, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, let's for sure sit down and talk about that, because I think we got it right now. That's one of the things COVID has taught us, is that we have to be forward moving, and we have to be on top of whatever that next trend is, so that we can make sure that our people, Black and Brown people, are a part of this equation. And all of this, what we're doing, the whole diversity, the inclusion, this is ultimately, we're talking about not just in words. Let's make it an actionable, strategic project that we're going to make some change. Because for both of our communities, for the Black and Brown community, if it's not economically led, we're going to be exactly where we have been. We have to have money flowing.
Yeah, and speaking of grants, you were talking about grants earlier. I know that like the utility companies like PG&E, Southern California Edison in particular, and others are providing grants and contracts to nonprofit organizations like the Urban League to teach people of this time of use increase in our utility rates. I don't know if you've heard of that.
No, I haven't heard of it.
Yeah,
but I know they do have some grants for those types of activities.
And what's kind of weird about it is that basically they're telling us to tell our communities, guess what? Your utility rates are going to be increasing, and they're going to be increasing to such an extent, that you will need solar panels in order to reduce your energy costs, right? If you don't go solar, if you don't go renewable, or if you live in an apartment and your landlord doesn't go renewable, your utility rates will increase. So it's this whole ecosystem that we have to create. But the time of use grants basically are just letting people know, hey, your rates are going to increase, so do something about it. But they're not necessarily telling you what to do. So that goes back to the policy that we thought we need. And I know Senator Kamala Harris created the Climate Equity Act last year with Alejandra Ocasio-Cortez. And I'm hoping that now that she's VP, because that was exactly what it was about, investment of those dollars into our communities, into the most vulnerable communities, right? And maybe this is out of context here, but to me, it connects with the pandemic, and it connects to our health, because our communities also have the most air pollution. And when you have the most air pollution, as you know, then you get asthma, COPD. Your immune system is compromised, and it makes us more vulnerable. So the less pollution we can have in our communities, the less vulnerable we are the next time, whether it's this virus or another virus, because our immune systems will be stronger. So it's all really a circle, right? It's an investment circle. It's pivoting into the future circle, but it's also connected to our health and our public health in our most marginalized communities across the nation, not just LA, but across the nation.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. So I know you also have been involved in chambers and trade associations. I know you, the LA Latino Chamber, you've been a part of that. And were you a part of NABO? NLBWA, yeah.
And I'm a member of NABO, but I haven't really been active in NABO. Right. But the Latino Chamber has been great to me because they both hired me as a consultant. I did their strategic planning probably, 6-7 years ago. But I also just went through Gilbert's class, Gilbert Buchanan's class. And because I got all of my back office in order, I got one of those Lacey COVID grants, right?
Oh, wow.
So that was really phenomenal. And
that's what I'm talking about.
Gil was responsible for building my capacity, even though I'm a capacity builder. So it's, we all learn from each other. We have to be constantly open to learning from others. If we're not, then you do lose those opportunities. And what was interesting to me about that grant is it was open to nonprofit organizations. That COVID grant considered nonprofits as businesses, right? So because they really truly are, they're businesses.
Really are.
Yeah,
they are, because they just happen to service people, and their focus is not on their profits; it's on the capacity of how many people that they can actually help to make a change, and it's all based upon that, which is vitally important when we look at our world today. Without our nonprofits, with the homeless situation we have in Los Angeles, with the the racial issues that we have in Los Angeles, our nonprofits are working triple and overtime right now, and it's interesting because even with, as I was saying earlier about LA County reaching out to the nonprofits, they reached out to a number of our CBO communities to help them get the word out to make sure stay safe over the holiday, and they offered a small grant for that. But that's the way it really should be, right? I mean, they should be reaching out to the nonprofits, supporting the nonprofits, because we're the ones that are boots on the ground. We're the ones that are actually having the conversations, sit down. We know all their problems. We know how they think. We know what their weak points are and what their strengths are. No one else knows that but us that are in a nonprofit environment.
That's right.
What we're there for, right?
I hope that they keep doing that, because I don't know if you recall this, but when they first gave out grants for communications, it was to these big PR firms.
Yes.
I don't think I didn't see anything they created. Not in my community. I live in View Heights. I'm like, never saw anything,
Never saw anything, right?
Yes, you're absolutely right. They should go to the community leaders, the people who have relationships in the community, who can diffuse that information so much faster than a PR firm. Even
and to trust it. They trust us.
That's right.
So we're telling them to be safe. But we're telling them to be safe not from a material purpose. We're telling them to be safe because we care about them. But we've already established the fact that we care about them. And they have the trust of us.
Right. And then that leads us to a discussion about misinformation, because aside from being in, the nonprofit sector, the business sector, I have a master's degree in public health. So these things really concern me, that there's so much misinformation in both the Latino and the African American community, so much so that a lot of people that I know have said, I'm not getting the vaccine. No way. Even if they've already had COVID. Like, I have a family member in Fontana, and she's like, I'm not getting the vaccine. I'm like, what? And she has kids. So this trust factor is so critically important
Yes.
to have these deep conversations with people about, and listen, right? Really listen. Why won't you? You know,
Right.
what is the deep seated issue that makes you mistrust, you know, vaccines? And then you're going to get some really good answers, because there are reasons for both communities to be doubtful about that.
There are a lot of reasons. There's a lot of reasons. So they definitely need to talk to us, because they're the one who set the stage in a bad way in the first place. So now, because of that, we don't really trust them. And when we don't trust them, it makes it difficult, because it's this continuous cycle going on where people are continuously getting infected because of misinformation, misrepresentation. They don't really care for us and our communities. So it really makes that difficult, and that cycle continues. So I am hoping that with this new approach, this new administration, this new group, we'll be able to see some more I want to say trustworthiness coming from them, and so more people can trust them and get more involved in the process. Because believe me, man, July of next year, I don't want to have to wear a mask and gloves and all of those things out there. You know, I want us to somewhat start interfacing with each other again. That's what I would love.
It's important that we're able to reunite and integrate with one another. So we have our work cut out for us, but we definitely have to be compensated for that. So I too hope there are more grants that are presented out there for us to be part of. You know, we are stakeholders in the community. So utilize us to get to the people to make sure, because we all, you know, that they are understanding what needs to be done. And you're right, people, you know, they're very mistrustful of the vaccine, but then you have to go, you know, I don't want you to die either. But but the more knowledge we have, the more comfortable you will be with it. I host another program on Thursdays called the Community Business Briefing, and it talks about funding that's coming on. I have to send you we're dark for the holidays now, but when we come back, I'd love to have you come on, Marta, there to speak as well, because we're building out our calendar, because we're talking to individuals about, you know, funding. But one of the things, we had someone that was he's a pharmacist, and he was talking yesterday about, he sat in on all of the conversations when they were with the vaccine. So he was bringing the information to us from his conversations, and he was basically saying one of the issues right now is with the Black and Brown community, we were not incorporated in the clinical trials. Some of it because of us. So they really truly they don't understand how it may work with us or may not work with us. And that's very important that we're part of clinical trials, because that's how they get their scientific basis. That's where they get that from. So it's a lot of work. And Gilbert and I both say this in the organizations that I work. I think for America to be a healthy country, it's going to require the Black and the Brown, all minorities coming together to speak the same language, and we all working collaboratively together, because our people are the most marginalized people in this country. And it's going to take all of our voices to be heard.
That's right. That's right. And if they divide us, right, they win. If we unite us, then we win.
We win.
Right? Exactly. And I think that's a good point to kind of pivot back to this topic of coaching. Because all three of us are coaches, right? Ourselves consultants, all three of us are coaches. And I think this transition time for everyone, businesses, nonprofit leaders, parents, you know, leaders of any kind, it's so important to have somebody be a wise sounding board in order for you to take the right next step, because there's a lot of different things that you could be doing, but it's so important to focus on you, where you are, where your energy is, and also on the dreams that you have for the future. Because I heard some quote, I'm not really sure where I heard it. First, you have to dream about the future, but then you have to keep remembering that dream. But you need to create that dream and remember it so that you can focus on it and create it, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's the magic that entrepreneurs have, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's a business entrepreneur or a nonprofit entrepreneur, they can dream and they can make those dreams happen by focusing on those dreams. But when our spirits are tired, like right now, and exhausted, coaches like the three of us are very much needed in order to continue and succeed, because I suspect that a lot of people are beleaguered and exhausted and burnt out and just ready to get rid of 2020, but not really ready for 2021.
Yeah.
I agree.
And I just want to put it out there.
Right.
We're here for you.
Yes, for
Crystal,
sure.
Gil, and I are here for you. So if you want to talk to me or either of them, I highly recommend it. I already gave my testimony how Gil helped me, right? And Crystal's just giving me a ton of great ideas in this conversation.
And we're going to have a conversation. And I think we're going to do it in March or April, and I would love to have you part of it. I have set up a task force so that we can get our voices heard. So we're pinpointing some issues, and part of the community-based briefings that I do, we're going to have a utility summit, and we're going to bring all of the utility entities in the same room.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to help you.
I will call you and have that conversation with you. We're going to have all of the Edisons, all the bodies, and we're going to have these real conversations about future. And so that will be a good opportunity for us to talk about training and apprenticeship training programs. Help. Yeah, so it's going to be a 4-hour, half a day. And Gilbert, of course, you're there because it's called the procurement. But we want to start having those level of meetings. One of the things that we have found with the business briefing, people are showing up because we're at the table, or the people that we bring to the call they're at the table. Now they're sharing that information to you, the person that can't get to the table. And they're coming out and they're listening. In since I launched it was launched in March. We've had about 475 people that have come through that platform. And every Thursday. And that tells me how needy people are, and they're thirsty for the information now. So we want to make sure that we're all using that platform.
Perfect. And I want to introduce you to Green Improvements, that solar installation firm that I talked about. That's all African American. Because I think they could probably give some insight onto how they've accomplished it. To my knowledge, they're the only all African American solar installation company that exists, from my research. So
that'll be awesome. So I would love you to be part of that and help us make sure that it's successful and that everyone. But I love the direction, and this is what we need to be doing right now, right?
Yeah, exactly.
How we're going to help our people really pivot and become very self-sufficient, because one of the things we found with COVID is you can't have one stream of revenue.
Right.
You have to think out of the box. You have to be ready to pivot. So you have to have your capacity building. You have to have what Gilbert has with Small Biz Pro. You have to have all and this is the prime time. We're still all in a learning mode right now. And taking all this information, but then I think the three of us and anyone else that is doing the coaching like we do, we need to help them strategize, because you're a strategist, so you know that it seems like we don't operate from strategy, that we operate from emotion and transaction.
That's right. Right.
That is true.
So very true. And I've come to realize that being a strategist means having a vision. And then creating a roadmap for that vision. And people can't have that vision without having hope. So that's a lot of what you guys provide, right? Is that hope and that inspiration, so that people can envision that, not just the outcome, but how to get there, right? And right now, we just got to really be concerned about creating that inspiration for that vision of what they're going to do with their businesses or their nonprofits, and how they're going to create multiple streams of income, but by starting with that one vision, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
definitely. So, Martha, if there's three things that you'd like our audience to take away from you today,
Mhm.
what would those three things be?
um,
Sometimes when we do workshops,
yeah,
when we do workshops, sometimes it's good to kind of recap.
yeah. I've always just listened to my intuition and my values, right?
Yeah.
So my values are be a connector, right, for
Oh,
community and their engagement so
I
that
like.
they can have the resources and they can have the voice, right?
Yeah,
So that's
yeah,
one common theme throughout my life because I've been so many different things. I'm like, what connects all of these experiences? But that's
right.
number one, right?
Yeah.
Connecting people to each other and to resources and to their own voice, right?
Mhm.
And I think when you're in service of others, as both of you are,
Yeah.
that creates its own level of happiness, right? You create
Uh-huh.
your own internal happiness by being in service of others. So
Right.
I would say whether you're a nonprofit person or you're a business person, when you connect your service to serving others, your whatever you do will flourish. And
Yeah.
that's why social enterprise is such a buzzword right now because
Mhm.
everybody's trying to show like I don't just have a computer business. I'm actually donating dollars to this community to build water systems in Africa or to
Mhm.
build water systems in Guatemala or to build, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
everybody wants to show and demonstrate that they can do that.
Yeah.
So, and it inspires more people. But I think it inspires people when you do it authentically. If
Yeah.
you're just doing it to be helpful, I mean, sorry,
Mhm.
if you're just doing it to market, sorry about that.
Yeah.
My battery was about to run out. If you're
Yeah.
just doing it to market, it shows, but you have to do it authentically. So follow your heart, follow your passion, integrate it with your values, and follow your intuition. And that will get you not just into 2021, but it'll set you up for success for the rest of your life.
That is
Okay.
fantastic. We
That's
so appreciate
amazing.
that.
That is
Marta,
amazing.
if anyone would want to reach out to you, how would they do that? And we can put that in the chat. You can put it in the private chat, and then I'll bring it over to the.
Okay, I'll put it in the chat, but my website is Segura Strategies for Good.
Agora Strategies.
For good.com.
Oh,
Right.
it's the letter four, or
Oh yes, the number 4.
okay. I mean the number 4.
Yeah, I'll put it in there right now. www Segura Strategies for Good. And then I'm also on Facebook and I'm on Instagram. But if they reach me in Segura Strategies for Good, I have my email in there, and then I could just relay them to whatever information it is that they need. Thank you for asking, Crystal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you are just, I mean,
She's phenomenal, man.
phenomenal, and I feel the synergy because it seems like we were cut from the same cloth.
Yes. Yes.
I think so.
I know a Kenyan spirit when I see one.
It's a compliment.
Right.
And I want to definitely do some things with you, and I think both of
Awesome.
us, we truly want to help our people, and we want to help our people grow and be the best that they can be.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of us out there,
That's
but the
right.
ones that are out there are just so valuable to our community. So I kudos to you for all your work and all of those components that you brought together to
Yeah.
create who you are today.
Yeah.
Thank you both, and I feel honored to be with both of you, and even more honored that this is your last show of the season.
And you were the one who took us out. It took us out of the year 2020.
And I will make sure you have a link. It's broadcast live on Facebook, and it's also on YouTube. And there's been a lot of comments and stuff going on. I think right now on Facebook we got about 40 people that is reached, but I'm going to boost it out there after we're done and after I put all the bells and whistles to it. So I think it will get a lot of more momentum because I think this is the message that people have to hear. But I want to, in the new year, we can reach out to each other. In fact, let me just give you my contact information right now,
Yeah.
Sounds good.
and we can you know uh, get together and talk about how we can help each other.
Yeah.
And I definitely want you to be part of the
The
Mhm.
briefing, the business briefing.
business briefing, but most importantly, the summit that we're going to do.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And if I
There,
could leave your audience with one question, I would ask them to write down the one thing that they want to change for 2021, not as a New Year's resolution, but then if they call any one of us, we could help them create a map, like a road map to get there, right?
right. I love that.
Is to write it down
I
and
love
start
it.
thinking about it and just working it and working it, right?
So
Would like to change. I'm gonna put that
right
write down
now,
the
the
one
one
thing.
thing you would like to change for 2021,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
it's not a resolution.
No, it's not a resolution. It's something permanent. It's going to
Yeah.
happen, and it's going to
Right.
stay that way. And we're
Right.
and Gil, Crystal, or myself, or any person with tons of wisdom can help me. But I recommend Gil and Crystal.
Yeah, and Marta, I do
And
too.
Martha. And Martha. 'Cause-
And I think it's really important that you said that this is not a resolution. This is something that is going to be life changing for all of us as people of this country. And I will say, one of the things that we've recognized with the man in the White House right now is that we have to get back to caring about each other.
Yeah.
We have to get back to the basics of um, um, human integrity, human our moral compass. We have to change,
Yes.
And loving one another as humans. I had gone with some friends to Dana Point not long ago, and I woke up in the morning. We had an interesting situation the day before. Um, uh, that got me to thinking that when I think about us from a spiritual place, we're all the same person. We just have a different coat.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? Our outer
Right.
coat is different, but inside, God wanted us. We are the same people. We bleed like each other. We love like each other. We grieve like each other.
Yeah.
We
We laugh
rejoice
like each other. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we care for the people in our family, and
Yeah.
that's the general thread, that I don't care what color your coat is on the outside.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's what your inside is.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's the way God intended it to be.
Yeah.
And we have to get back there.
Right.
That's right. Yeah.
Now,
And
now, Martha, do you know? Have you heard anything much about the COVID relief funding that they're fighting over in Congress right now? Do you know if they came to any resolution?
yeah, I think Sanders announced yesterday that every adult is going to be getting $600 and every child is going to be getting $500. So they agreed on that. But he said, please just look at that
Per
as
week? Per week?
No, I think just for the rest of the year,
Oh man.
Yeah.
That's
And he says it was the only thing that they could agree on.
yeah.
But once the Biden administration kicks in,
Yeah.
they're going to go for something much more sustainable, much more long-term,
Okay.
something that's going to truly help the economy and families recover. So he was disappointed, but at the same time saying, like, look, it's all we could get. It's what we could get. And I'm grateful for that. But
Yeah.
we're with this, we're going to continue to fight for something much bigger, much more necessary. And I remember Obama's American Recovery Act. And when that kicked in,
Right.
I think this is going to be about 10 times bigger than that.
Right. And
So-
remember Biden was in charge of that, right? He was in charge of the American
Yeah.
Recovery Act.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
So he's familiar. He's familiar with that process. He knows
That's
how
right.
it works. Right.
That's exactly right.
Do you think they're going to shut down the government tonight at midnight, or do you think this deal will allow them to?
No, I know Jimmy Gomez was flying back there today, and Sanders is saying he's staying there. And they're encouraging other senators and other Congress members to stay so that they can continue to make these critical decisions.
Yeah.
But I will double check because I'm not sure if it's per week or for the rest of the year. But remember, like that $1,200 fund that we got.
Yeah. I think I read it was that 600 for just this one time, a stimulus. That I guess the difference between a stimulus and ongoing relief is the 600 additional dollars that you got if you were on unemployment, and that was coming on a regular basis. The stimulus is the $1,200 that they gave you one time. Right. Not that can do a whole lot for you, especially come now. Did they hold up the the eviction moratoriums and things like that? Because that's supposed to all kick out, and everything is supposed to, all the holes are supposed to come off on December 30th.
I know in LA County, I got notices that the water bills and the utility bills are being held up, right? So there's still a moratorium on water bills and utility bills. So I would think that the rent would also still continue, the rent moratoriums. But I have to double check on that. I don't know the answer to that question.
Okay. Let's hope so.
Yeah.
So, Crystal, I see you got your inauguration counter.
Because this is important, what we just talked about. We have to know we only have to survive through another 32 days, but I think it's even shorter because on January 5th is they've already done. So 32 days, we will have a new president. They're going to have to drag the other one out. But this one, they're going to keep out. The military at that point will be under Biden's command. and they will use the military. But 32 days, 16 hours, 44 minutes, and 29 seconds. And we're going to have some sort of relief. And hopefully we stay safe for the holidays. We mask up, we wash our hands, we keep our distance, and we only stay with the families that you see on a regular day, every day. And then after that, we can go back and we can travel and we can love one another. But right now, we have to be safe.
So 32 days to pepper spray and tasing, right?
Right. Thank you, Marta. We so appreciate you being on the show. Gilbert, it's been a great show.
Martha, you wanna hold after we do our outro and do a little testimonial for us on the business zone? All right. So Crystal is gonna take us out. Crystal, remind them to subscribe and hit the bell in YouTube and Facebook. Okay, go ahead.
All righty. So you guys have been tuned into the Business Zone with Crystal and
Gilbert Buchanan, your small business paramedic.
And we want to wish everyone, all our listeners that have been following us and coming to us every week, a happy holiday season. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa. We want you to be safe. So please take this virus serious. We want to see you in 2021, and we don't want you to be ill when we do see you. So please do that. Make sure you're back with us in January, first Friday in January. I don't know what that is. I think it's
the 5th. And we also want to thank our very, 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 very special guest, Miss Marta Segura. Okay.
Yes. Thank you for being on our show, and we want to thank all our other guests that have been on for the full year of 2020 that supported us. So we are going to be out, and you can catch us you can go to our website. And you can go to our YouTube channel and our Facebook channel to see the archives of the show. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Ding, ding. And so that when we come back in January, you'll get notifications that we're here.
Tell them the website. What's the website?
And the website is The Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert. And our Facebook page, our YouTube page, our Twitter page, our Instagram page is the exact same name, The Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert. And we will see you guys in 2021. Gilbert and I are going to get some much needed rest. It's been rough the last couple of months. We're going to come back stronger, more enthusiastic, more motivating than you can possibly imagine.
Oh, yeah.
So you guys be safe. Have a happy holiday, and we will see you. But you guys can see me on social media. I'm there all day, and so y'all can say hello.
Oh, Crystal, I remember I have one announcement before we
What's
go.
that?
So on Monday morning at 11 o'clock, I will be teaching bank loan readiness class for the Urban League hosted by JP Morgan Chase.
Mm.
And it's one of those programs where they're advancing Black entrepreneurs, and it's called the Power of Capital. So
Mm.
I'll be teaching I taught the part one was last Monday, and part two is this Monday, Monday the 21st at 11 o'clock. We had about 28, 30 people on in the workshop last Monday. So we're
Okay.
hoping to have more. And if there's any of you out there who want to join this workshop, make sure you email me. My email is here in the chat, Gilbert at thebuchanangroup.net, so I can register you guys and get you guys in the program. So I wanted to leave them with that.
All righty. So we'll see you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
As a small biz pro, so we roll, using procurement, program, and control. As a small biz pro, so we grow, using procurement, program, and control. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur.